This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? I love LA. That's right. DiJonai Carrington. I love LA. You're talking about Lynn Roberts, and you're also talking about Rickea Jackson. And let me tell you something, DiJonai. We're going to break it down for you. I love LA. DiJonai Carrington, man, oh man, what a ball player. No doubt about it. And I got you on the spotlight. I'm going to put you out there, DiJonai. And anytime WNBA players, you tap in with Money Mike, I know you're out there. I'm going to come on, I'll put you on the spotlight. And let's talk about DiJonai Carrington because you're talking about a different type of player with the intangibles that win an NBA championship. Now, where am I going with this? DiJonai Carrington has got it listed as a combo guard, unrestricted free agent, no doubt about it. You got Lynn Roberts just took the job over at the Sparks. And Lynn, definitely one thing Lynn's going to do is stretch the floor. And Lynn, let's go big. That's what I share with Lynn Roberts, and we'll speak from a distance. It'll get to the desk, but Lynn, let's go big on this one. Let me tell you why. I'm going to take you back. I got Rickea Jackson, and I heard something today that really was shocking. Somebody said that Kurt Miller developed Rickea Jackson. Folks, that's the remote farness of the truth. Let me tell you what you got here. You got a point guard in Rickea Jackson. Nobody's going to see that. Nobody's going to see the intangibles that she brings, right? But when you look at this collectively, and here's the proposed LA Sparks to get you right to the game. If you take DiJonai Carrington, right, point guard, combo guard, does either one. You pair up with Rickea Jackson. There ain't no doubt about it, and you draft Kiki. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a front line that'll get in there, and you give them about 8 to 10 games with Roberts, they're gonna dominate the WNBA. That front line I just gave you. See, because all of these players have intangibles, and for Money Mike, I'll put it to you. And what are intangibles? Intangibles are qualities or those that can't be measured or defined by statistics, such as effort, leadership, attitude, right? Attitude. These qualities are important to the game because they represent the capacity of the player's ability to adapt himself or herself big to the big leagues and perform. The term intangibles is often used in basketball to describe qualities. And with Money Mike, I'm talking about big qualities, right? So at the end of the day, what does that all mean for Money Mike? I mean, my deal is I like taking bigs and making them point guards, right? So you look at this player, and I'll take you back. How did it all start in women's basketball? I mean, I pull a player out of Bowling Green, Missouri, right? Anne Marie Hartung, 6'4", 6'3", really, I had 6'4", right? But what do I do with Hartung? I move her out. She doesn't have any offers. She's sitting out there. Missouri wants her bad. So she comes out to California. Who does she play for? Mike Walker, Showtime Hoops, right? So at the end of the day, before you get that all going, I mean, you got to understand when you take a player like Hartung, who's going to be 6'4", I mean, what you going to do? You know, she's going to picks Texas, right? So I got to call the Texas coach. I got to make the connection. So I take a player that's 6'3", went on and played with Cy-Fair, and that's where the Gumacaves were, and didn't work out. She went into business school. Life moves on, right? So at the end of the day, and you're gonna have players that have intangibles, right? And I'll throw you another one your way, right? Because you got to take these 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" players and treat them as point guards, right? I talked to you about developing point guards. Now, who's this? This is Bugs, right? Bugs out of Long Beach Poly, right? And me and Bugs began a relationship, and it came through Ron Brown, but he had a 6'4" post player out there. Her name was Tajay, right? And this was a funny story because this one takes me back to Lynn Roberts, right? And I said, Lynn, I got a 6'4" player that can really just do it. And it didn't work. And let me tell you why it didn't work with Lynn, because with Lynn Roberts, what really just drove her nuts was the player was on the cell phone the entire time she was talking. I mean, you want to talk about pet peeves with Lynn? I'll tell you a pet peeve. You guys got to get ready right now. If she's talking, man, just pay attention because it's coming quick and fast, right? But it didn't work out. But what ends up happening, because she goes, Mike, I go to the game, the player doesn't even get in the game, right? But you look at Taj. Taj is a 6'4" player, right? So I got the intangibles out of Taj. What does she do? She goes on to Nebraska Omaha. She ends up being the Summit Defensive Player of the Year, right? I mean, and she makes the academic all honor roll, and she leads the nation in blocks, right? Set a record, right? So all of this is coming out of in looking at intangibles. Now, here's the deal with DiJonai Carrington and this one here and playing with Lynn. I'll tell you, this is a different cup of coffee because first thing you got to do to go to UOP, you go up there to Utah, but I know at UOP you got to be intelligent, you got to be smart. And everybody wants to call DiJonai Carrington toxic. I mean, she battled it out, no doubt with CaitlinClark. We know about the eye. All right, that's in the competition, the game that moves on. Players will handle that themselves, right? I mean, Caitlin knows how to handle that herself. And when it gets to Caitlin, you got to understand, Caitlin plays this game at a different pace, right? But Caitlin also, like Gino said, I mean, she spouts it and talks it, and she's got a pretty good backhand slap off the dribble, right? So, I mean, these women know how to handle each other on the court, and they do what they can, right? But DiJonai went to Stanford, right? So you got to put this in perspective. And how does that relationship work with Stanford? I had as some recruits were coming across the desk, I had an opportunity to communicate with Tara on the phone. We talked about an hour and a half. And when you talk to these coaches, and even with Gino, right? Because when I have conversations with coaches, I don't talk about analytics. I don't talk about statistics, right? The number one thing that coaches want to know, Mike, what are the intangibles? If you have a player that no one can see what they do, and this is why people always throw analytics at me. And I'm saying that analytics don't make a play. All analytics do is show you, okay, well, night in and night out, the player can do these things. But however, if you take the court and the player can't play defense, they can't block shots, they don't understand defensive rotations, they don't understand the options on the offense. There's a lot of intangibles that make a player go from good to being great, right? So DiJonai comes out of Stanford. Okay, let's just be honest about that, right? And how does Stanford do it? They do it different. First, you got to be able to qualify to get into school, right? You got to have the academics to get in. They don't recruit players unless you can walk into Stanford and just be a regular student. Has nothing to do with your ability of playing the sport. You have to show your ability that academically you can be a student at Stanford, right? So it's a different game, right? But at the end of the day, obviously she makes a transfer. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're talking about a player here who LA, I'll tell you, DiJonai, and I'm going to talk every player in the WNBA's really got 10, 15, 25 people on the hook. And DiJonai, you tapped in. I'm going to tap back to you right now. You belong in LA. Unrestricted free agent, right? Unrestricted free agent. LA is the place to be for you. There's no doubt about it. You're a star, okay? And like I tell you, you come out of Stanford, right? And you got to look at that because you moved the needle when you did that, right? You moved the needle. So let's just call it what it is. And you got a high-profile coach coming in that would fit your game, right? And everybody's talking about toxic players, toxic players. You know what Money Mike loves? You give me all the toxic ones because the toxic ones are the ones that have the intangibles that win the championships. And why? Is because at the end of the day, everybody's focused on the numbers and the player does this or that. But from the mental standpoint, preparation for a game, the first thing DiJonai Carrington does. Now, I'll break this down because I want you to really get it. She's going to find out if you're mentally tough or not, right? Because you might not be mentally tough enough to be in this game and be able to win, right? And it comes down to what else can you do on defense, right? So you got DiJonai Carrington is all WNBA first team defense, right? You got to have that number one. If you want to win, first thing you got to do is know how to stop somebody, right? Because everybody goes, okay, the players this and that. If any player in the WNBA or beating any coach, I don't care if it's Don Staley, I don't care if it's Gino, you got to know defensively how to stop them first. Okay, it's not going to be a free for all. Let's go score all these points. The first thing you got to do to be a champion and be a championship coach, you got to know how to stop somebody. And if you don't know how to stop somebody, then you're guessing because they're just scoring points as you score points. And then in the plus minus, you end up with a player scoring 38 points, and then they're giving up 42, right? So they're -4 for the game. DiJonai Carrington is a point guard, combo guard. Ambidextrous, takes it to the left hand or right. Now, what does that mean? And I put Rickea Jackson. I'm going to tell you guys something. I'll tell you an intangible. Every picture I looked at, and for Rickea Jackson, who's with the Sparks now, no doubt about it, great player, right? But every picture I looked at with DiJonai is she's playing with the ball in her hand. She's always playing with the ball in her hands. Here's an intangible that I look for to see if a player is ambidextrous, right? Can they go with the left hand or the right hand? And two, being the fact she's standing 6'2", right? You're going to get in there and you're going to get a player that can defend the point guard spot, right? And what else does she do is a big, big, big intangible for me is you must have the ability to block shots, right? So that's what you get a player like Tajay who goes in there and sets the NCAA record for blocks. I always tell you about Gina Johnson. She just got in a car accident. Lynn Robert, no, blocked everybody in the entire conference, no doubt. It sent a player, Marian Johnson, down to Sac State, broke the record in blocks, right? Because we block shots, right? That's what I teach. So when you get a player and you're talking about, you got two players right here, they block shots. Okay, that's intangibles. They can lock up on defense. And if you run in there with size, right? And I'm talking about this is a good look for the Sparks. Because if you go in there and you got 5'11 DiJonai, you got 6'2", right? You got 6'2" coming in there across the board with Kia Jackson, and then you come with Kiki. Man, oh man, oh man. And Kiki's not hard to find. I love LA, and she's at USC, right? So the game is a game. It's kind of moving itself around of how all this is going to come out. But DiJonai is DiJonai, right? And in this game here, you know what? You come out of Stanford, right? And you go to Stanford, you play with Tara, right? So she's automatically got the concept, the X's and O's, and academically, she's probably one of the smartest players. If you took a test, right? If you took a test of all the players and find out what's the academic level, you might say, okay, this is a toxic player that I don't like, but this player's got academics and really doesn't even have to play basketball, really. I mean, you got to put it in perspective. DiJonai could go be one of the VPs of one of the top corporations in America, right? Because she has that academic ability and that mindset, right? But she also understands the sociology makeup of players, and some players are not mentally tough. So, what does she like to do? Challenge where you are mentally. That's her first focus. Okay. Now, you talk about another intangible wingspan. Wingspan. DiJonai's got a lot of wingspan, right? No doubt about it. What has Rickea Jackson got? Wingspan, right? So that's the other intangible I want to know. Okay, how big's the wingspan? You get the key. We got to look at wingspan because now we're going to play some activity on the defensive end and we're going to disrupt what you do good, right? We're going to block shots. We're not going to let players we're not going to do like everybody else, let players get shots off. We're going to block shots, right? Because at the end of the day, this is the WNBA. And one thing Lynn Roberts does, man, you're going to get in and find out a lot about Roberts that a lot of people don't know. But there's a science to her game, right? She's got a blueprint in her head. And I'm telling you, it's not the type of blueprint that you're going to be able to figure out. I mean, she doesn't care about no excuses. I'm not focused on what you're saying. I'm focused on what I'm going to do with my team. Now, when you get back to it, I'm going to tell you. Now, with Lynn, I'll tell you, we had a conversation before about point guards, and I'm going to tell you, you got Rickea Jackson, okay, can slowly move into that spot. And I'll tell you, the last 5 minutes of the game, Rickea Jackson can handle the ball and put them in great sets or take it off the dribble drive, penetration, and can finish with the left or the right, which is crucial. Now, what do I like about Jackson so much that I love is Jackson can work the left side of the floor, right? She's L.A. all the way, perfect fit, no doubt about it. And really, if you look at it, all the WNBA players love to come to L.A. because you're not going to have any other better place. I mean, it's the industry capital of the world. You've got everything right at your fingertips. You got a lot of things you could do in L.A. because the L.A. city is the greatest city ever in the world. Everybody goes to L.A., right? So that's why I bring it back to DiJonai. You know what, DiJonai? I love L.A. Unrestricted free agent. California, Stanford, you've been here. You know what it's about. And this is a place that the Bay Area doesn't get any better. Now, if you want to put it in there and win a WNBA championship along the way, DiJonai, I got to have you come on down to the LA Sparks. You've earned it. You've earned it. I'm going to give you your flowers. You get in there, you battle on defense, and you know what it takes to get it done. Now, with the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast, I'm going to tell you the main thing that I look at is intangibles. That's right. The qualities are those that can't be measured or defined by statistics, or better known today as analytics, such as effort, leadership, and attitude. You got to have that to win. And DiJonai packs a whole lot of attitude and a whole lot of swag. And when she gets dressed up and it's trying to shine, L.A. is the place you need to be. So DiJonai, talk to the agent. Let's get you out here to L.A. Lynn Roberts, welcome, welcome, welcome. She's no stranger to L.A. She knows what it is. California, Rickea Jackson, you the best of the best. Ain't nobody gonna do it better. And that's a point guard, Money Mike size. And like I told you, you know what Money Mike does? We specialize on intangibles. We take the bigs and turn them into point guards. That's our game. And we got to show you the work every now and then because when you play for Showtime Hoops, we play defense. Tara and Gino, man, Tara retired, but Gino, man, still here. These are two of the best of the best. There's no one that's done it better in women's basketball. And DiJonai, it's your time. I see a championship. It is what it is. And, of course, Kiki, love to have you in L.A. Rivers, we'd love to have you in L.A. because it is what it is. And Candace Parker, we know you love L.A. too. So it is what it is, but the game is a game. DiJonai, L.A.'s the home. It's the next spot. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. All things are possible to those who believe. We're going to get better and better. The WNBA is fantastic, and the championship might just land in L.A. I love L.A. Juju Watkins, Kiki, it's going down. Life is meant to be. We'll see you soon.